I need to sell my house, and it's a daunting thought. I'm already so busy, and I have no idea where to start. I know there are tons of forms involved, staging, and the showings. I think of the crazy world out there, and it may even be dangerous to have strangers coming into my house. But I don't want to spend the money to hire a realtor.
At Coldwell Banker Kennard Real Estate, we understand your concerns. You'll be surprised to know that you may make more money faster and stress-free by working with one of our experts. Give us a call today for a free consultation. 423-414-1002 or 423-284-3233.
Informational, fun,
timely,
relevant.
That's what people are saying about A to Z in real estate. 30 minutes packed with great info for home sellers, buyers, and investors. And now let's welcome your host, Lizzie Cohen.
Well, welcome everybody to A to Z in real estate. This is Lizzie Cohen, and happy to be here as always every Saturday morning talking about real estate matters that we are all affected by one way or another. And so today we have a very good show, and in this show we're going to be talking about mortgage lending. And to help me with that, I have my co-host, Sean Matthews. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Happy to be here. Good morning.
Good morning. And Nancy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Nancy Collins is with Fairway Mortgage, and she's going to help us in this discussion about related to mortgage lending. So we're going to get started right away.
Okay, let's do it.
Tell us a little bit about you first.
I'm Nancy Collins. I've been in the mortgage industry for 20 years. Love what I do, helping people, find their way into their homes, whether it's first time, repeat, second homes, and whatever the case may be. And a year and 4 months ago, I joined Fairway just for an opportunity of growth and to help more people, truly. Fairway is a very large nationwide company with a smaller company feel. Mm-hmm. The large company allows us to have the resources to add programs as needed, to have the, just the ease. I like to call it high tech, high touch, because this business will always be about the relationships and the one-on-one. People like the idea of having an 800 number or an online to get it started, but they also like the idea of having an advocate walk them through it, a real person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say it's a need. It's a need to have an advocate in this process.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say that, Sean?
Well, absolutely. It's part of your team, for us too. When we choose a lender, that we refer people to, it's a burden and a gift all at the same time. We're calling on the weekends and evenings, but
yes.
I like that, the high touch. We're still in the people business, so.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
It's definitely a balance.
Yeah, and for those people in our audience that have had bad experiences with lenders, they understand the value of having a lender that's focused on people, on relationship, on building a relationship rather than just push people through the process.
There's way more to the business than units. You have a lot of lenders that their focus, and ultimately everybody has to be profitable, but that was one of the things that really drove me to Fairway, or pulled me, I should say, was their core values, the emphasis they put on that, and the top one being humility and customer service.
That's very remarkable, to use the word humility in relationship to mortgage lending.
Right.
How does that, unpack that a little bit for me?
So the humility to know that at the core of everybody, what you should have is a huge work ethic. And by that, I don't mean show up on Saturdays, take the after-hour calls. I mean, care about the consumer, the customer. If somebody calls me and wants to do a refinance and it doesn't make sense for them, it's my job to explain to them how it might be more harmful than helpful. And really ask them, what are your goals? Do you plan on being in this house for 5 years or 30 years, or all that stuff factors in. And that's where the personal touch comes into play. Is that you have to have those conversations. You can only capture so much data online, and that's great to get it started.
Right.
But then the conversation is the
as
key.
you move forward,
the relationship.
as you develop that relationship.
Right.
I think that's really interesting to hear a mortgage company talk about humility, because we strive in our arena as well.
Right.
And for me, humility. it means I try to put myself in that person's shoes
100%.
and understand what they're going through. We know many times people have to buy a house or sell a house because of a divorce or a loved one passing away, and to be able to have that willingness to go there and to put yourself in that situation, it's worth gold.
Right.
Really, in our industry where everything happens so quickly and people are so driven by making money, and there's nothing wrong with making money. We all have to make a living. But how we go about it, I think makes all the difference.
You can make an honest living and
be human.
Right. And I got in the business and made my relationships priority. Realtor relationships, customer relationships. And that's why I have customers that I've closed 10 houses for over the last 20 years as they've moved up with their families.
Yeah, that's exactly. I kind of miss that a little bit
Yeah.
because I used to have that in Colorado where I worked a long time, and now here I'm building that.
Right.
It takes a while.
It takes some time.
But people, eventually they will see the difference. They
Absolutely.
definitely
It's a
will.
time investment on our part.
It really is.
But it's worthwhile.
It's worthwhile
Yeah.
all the way. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the pre-qualification step in getting a mortgage.
Okay, so pre-qualification, whether you're a first-time home buyer, a repeat buyer, really any buyer, in this market especially, if you're going to go out and look at properties, you need to be pre-qualified. And that would be calling a loan officer such as myself, getting that process started, which is a lot of just data entry, getting your name, socials, birthdays, and then a loan officer should take another step forward and go ahead and collect a little bit of income documentation, especially if you have an atypical job. Let's say you're self-employed. You have variable pay.
Right.
Those things can't just be given out and calculated based on verbal conversations. They need to be validated so that you as the consumer don't end up in a bad situation.
We don't have stated income mortgages anymore, thank God.
We don't.
Thank God for that.
Amen.
So yeah. So and I also was going to say when you talk about people having to have a pre-qualification letter before they get too excited about a particular house, that cannot be stressed enough. Why?
It can't, because it empowers them as a buyer. It's like going out into the market and not forgetting your wallet. You wouldn't go to Walmart without your credit card. You wouldn't go, on
and knowing
Amazon
how
your
much you can
information
spend.
in there. Right.
Exactly. That's it. That's the heart of
Knowing
it.
your power, knowing your budget, knowing up front what to expect as far as money you're going to need at closing. What's that payment going to look like? As close as we can get it. Now, a pre-qualification is still an estimate because there is a theoretical property being discussed, but those things all should be factored in for you, and you should know going out what to expect.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's an advice, something a piece of advice we give to our potential clients. Don't get online first and fall in love with the property. If you don't know if you actually can buy it.
Right.
So it's so easy to do, though. It's so easy because it's available.
Everything's a click away.
Exactly.
That's kind of our culture right now.
Yeah, and how sad it is to fall in love and even go take a realtor, maybe a younger realtor, less experienced, that is willing to show properties without having a qualification, pre-qualification letter, only to find out, what, we can't.
Those
put you in that
weekends
house.
That are a little wasted, yeah. And also, it shouldn't be understated that it's just for the qualified buyer. I do pre-qualifications every day for people that may be really close but not quite there. Well, those people don't need to go out and put earnest money and things like that for sellers' houses off the market. Maybe we need to spend 6 months going over a credit plan with them and saying, okay, here's what I'm seeing, and these are the suggestions I would have for you based on my experience to help kind of boost that credit up and get it to where it would be most optimized for you to purchase. And sometimes that's a month, 3 months, 6 months. It depends on the buyer. And I can't emphasize enough that pre-qualifications and mortgages, there are no two alike.
Yeah.
It's so individually specific per person.
That is so true. That is so true. And it's the same for us. So we understand that. Each transaction is unique.
And you said it's a pretty quick process. Usually
is.
we pump that out in the
Yeah,
same day.
typically it's same
so-
day. That's what I strive for. And I say if I get the call before 3, I will do my best to get back the same day. And I can look at it pretty quickly. If it is a self-employed borrower, somebody with variable pay, and I know tax returns are going to be, an influence on that, then I'm going to go ahead and ask for those.
Right.
And communicate that. So in
Right.
those instances, on the one-off type situations, you might have a little longer than a day because I do a little more than most up front.
That's great. Now, let's go into some of the do's and don'ts
Okay.
in this process. I know you have prepared a slide that we're going to put on the screen for people to look at. Of course, the listeners cannot see it, but that means they can go to Facebook and look for us, A to Z in Real Estate, and you can actually watch the show. But if you're listening only, Nancy's going to go through the do's and don'ts
Sure.
in this process.
So the do's are pretty simple. It would be, and we talked about this a little earlier, is just set up any access you can to banking, employment, anything like that that you may have access to online, to pull pay stubs, to pull W-2s through your employer. And it's okay if you can't. If you can't, you can still get paper copies. Just start a folder. If you know you're going to be shopping for a home, start you a folder, start compiling things. Even if they're not needed, there's no harm in having them.
Well, and I just need to translate for millennials
Okay.
that what a folder is.
Yeah.
Because
Not on your desktop.
exactly.
Yeah, really.
Right, an actual piece of paper that you put things that you can touch and feel
In the middle.
In
yeah.
the middle.
Right.
And so thank God for millennials
Whatever
because
works the easiest.
I mean, it's so easy to work with them nowadays, with the
is.
younger generation that it's all at the click of a button.
Right.
From A to Z, they go through entire thing, electronic signatures and everything. But,
That's great
God
too.
bless them. That's
Yeah,
great.
That's great too. So, but either way, the point is, it can be facilitated with either paper copies, PDF copies, whatever works in your world. Yeah, and so it's just compile documentation. But typically today, we don't need as much as we once did.
So if you're pre-qualifying somebody that has all of their ducks in a row, okay, they have all their paperwork ready, whether electronically or in a file,
Right.
you literally can pre-qualify that person in a day.
Same day.
Same day.
Same day.
Okay, that's for the agents out there listening to us. This is very valuable
Yeah.
because of the kind of market we're in, right?
It's crucial.
Yeah, because if we're presented multiple offers and somebody doesn't have a pre-qualification letter, that's a mystery. We don't know. It's a promise on paper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That pre-qualification letter is key. Because they'll look at it and they'll do their research. They'll research who it's from and how thorough it is and
Right.
past closing. So
Yeah.
It's a benchmark.
And Nancy was telling me off the record, but I'm going to bring it up,
Okay.
that in her app, you can, as a realtor, if you have her app in your phone,
Right.
you can actually get the pre-qualification letter. You don't have to call her and say, hey, Nancy, I need a pre-qual letter. If you have her app and in your phone, you can get it right then and there. How crazy is that? How valuable is that?
Today's
And
world.
I know.
That's awesome.
Full disclosure, I set the parameters around that amount, so there's no worry for the realtor to go, oh no, am I going too far one way?
Right.
I set
Right.
that parameter.
Yeah.
But the reason I have borrowers that call me on occasion and they'll say, can I get my pre-qualification letter so that the realtor will show me properties? Well, the only reason I don't just do a blind, open-ended pre-qualification is because if your buyer is looking at 220 and they're going to offer 215, we don't necessarily want them walking around with a 220 pre-qualification letter. So
Exactly.
typically we make the pre-qualification letter match the offer.
Match the
Right.
property.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, that's great. And that's the way it should be. And yeah.
And
it's-
it makes it relevant.
It makes it relevant. So, what are some of the don'ts in your list?
The don'ts would be things that you would kind of consider, just everyday don'ts, but it's worth saying out loud, and I always go over it with my buyers, is that don't change your job if you can help from doing so. Don't,
If you are in the process of buying a house.
Right.
Or thinking about buying.
right, don't go make drastic changes on any of your open liabilities. Don't charge up your accounts. Don't close any accounts, believe it or not. Unfortunately, from time to time, I'll have a customer that'll call and think they know what their credit score is, and they've shut 3 revolving accounts, and their credit score dropped, and they can't figure out why. And
Wow.
so
Yeah.
there's a lot of credit education that goes into. So just my best piece of advice as a buyer is just keep doing what you've been doing until you get pre-qualified.
Yeah.
And then if anything needs to be adjusted, I will definitely share that with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Nancy, along those lines, you offer free consultation to people.
That's right.
So, would you mind giving your contact information?
Absolutely not. So I'm kind of old school, and I look at Sean, not for any reason other than we've been doing this forever. All 3 of us have.
Yes.
My name is Nancy Collins, and my contact information is my cell phone, as hazardous as that may be, and it's 706-280-9763. And then my email as well is nancy.collins@fairwaymc.com.
Very, very good. Thank you, Nancy. We're going to
welcome.
take a little break,
Okay.
and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Nancy Collins is a branch manager at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Her goal is to help you find the right financing options to fit your unique needs. Contact her today at 706-280-9763 to learn more. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 2289, is an equal housing opportunity lender. LO NMLS number 195344. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Georgia Resident Mortgage Licensee number 21158. Branch location 307 West Emory Street, Unit C, Dalton, Georgia 30720.
Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty, serving the local real estate needs since 1974, offering residential, commercial, and land purchase. The market keeps hitting new highs and inventory is low. Maybe it's time to check what your current market value is. Talk to the professionals at Coldwell Banker Kennard. Let them guide you on your next move. Coldwell Banker Kennard, we never stop moving. Leave your mark on the world of real estate. Call them at 423-476-5532. Located 2650 Peerless Road, Northwest.
Welcome back to A to C in Real Estate. Thank you for tuning in today. We are here in the studio with Sean Matthews and Nancy Collins. She is our expert in mortgage lending. And just in a way of recap, we have been talking a little bit about the process of obtaining a mortgage. We talked about the pre-qualification letter and how important that is in this process and how much it saves time to the buyer and to the agent that they're working with. And what else did we talk about, Nancy?
We talked a little bit about the do's and the don'ts while you're, in the process of purchasing a home, and things like that can actually end up being a hindrance.
Yes, and I need to repeat that we have this program available online on Facebook, so you can actually watch it. You can see some of the slides that we put on the screen with information that you can register. You can take a screenshot or whatever and get the information in your cell phone or on your little notepad, because we want to be a resource to our listeners, to our viewers. We want to be the company that is not only about we just get this in this transaction and push it through and then the next one. No. We are in the business of building relationships. We talked about that in the first 15 minutes, and we mean it. I mean, and part of that for us means to be a resource, to provide information that is valuable, to take the time actually to share with our audience what we know about real estate, which includes mortgage.
Sure.
Sean is a wealth of knowledge. He's been in the industry for a long time, and to have somebody like him willing to share, educate our audience, it's very valuable. I mean, I came into real estate because I had a horrible experience buying my first house. I did not know what I was doing. The agent that helped us, bless his heart, he assumed that we knew what we were doing, and we didn't. And so I said, you know what? I am going to get my real estate license, and I'm going to help. Back then, it was basically helping the Hispanic community. And that's what I did. I had a radio show in Spanish, and that's all I did, educate the people. And people were so grateful, and that's what we're hoping here. The people will be grateful. The people will see our hearts through this, that we are, of course we make a living out of selling and helping people sell and buy. Of course, that's what we do, and we love it. But in the process, we want to build relationships and we want to educate our people. So when they go through the experience, through the transaction, they can relax.
It's not as intimidating. Knowledge breeds, empowerment. And if you're open to somebody and you communicate, this is just the way I feel, then they can relax, just like you said, because it's not all foreign. They have some comfort level with it because they've been introduced to it, and they have that, ability to ask the question and get a real person answer. It's not the same as just, looking it up online and hoping for the right thing.
Yes.
When you have an actual advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. I just quite frankly don't understand the mindset of obtaining a mortgage loan online or without ever having a person that is your advocate like you were saying before, Nancy. It's to me, it would be so intimidating.
We're seeing a lot of the millennials, and not just millennials, to be fair. A lot of times people, it's a Friday night, they want to get pre-qualified. Well, I can go online and do it. And theoretically you can start it that way. But what I've noticed is they start that way, and then Saturday morning they're calling because they really do kind of internally
talk to somebody.
They are looking for that, okay, how do I take the next step? I know how to fill in the blanks and hit next, but really what's next? And it's not until they do that do they understand the all-encompassing
the big
aspects
picture.
Of, oh my gosh, this is more than just a car loan. This is the largest purchase I will ever make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember my first pre-qualification. I went to the office, sat down. I had sold real estate for 2 years, so never really understood the process from the consumer's standpoint. And then self-employed, younger, borrower. It was a lot, and there were two companies. And the one was very conservative, and the one was a little bit more aggressive. And of course, I wanted a little bigger house, but they were really cautious. They walked me through it. I learned a lot through the process. Made me a better realtor. Just like you said, from that first experience, it's humbling. To understand that Friday night, click, click, click. I want to talk to a person. And that's what we're trying to, persuade people to do is to reach out to a professional, local. Somebody. Everyone's going to look on the internet for interest rates, but just like you said, there's many, many programs. Those vary. So of course, advertising, they're going to put out that lowest rate possible. And they're going to say, well, why is that this and not that? So, it's good to talk to somebody.
It's really good because, like we were talking about, every mortgage transaction is so specific and individual. You could take two people working at the same place for the same amount of years, and it's still going to be two different processes.
Absolutely, yeah. It's super important to keep in mind. And Sean, you mentioned interest rates, and we're talking to Nancy, so we have to ask the question.
We have our expert.
Yeah, interest rates, and we know that the interest rates are right now at an all-time low.
They are.
And let's talk about interest rates.
Okay, and over the last couple of months, we've seen a little bit of a spike in those rates, and that's just, market compression, lack of, inventory, supply and demand, for a lack of a better way of saying it, and the Fed's response to fear of, any kind of economic stalling that we might be seeing. But honestly, even having said all of that precursor, our rates are still historically low.
Yes.
And the rates coming up shouldn't be looked at as a thing of negativity. It actually shows that our economy is strengthening up a little bit.
Yes.
And that's what we need.
Yes.
You don't want rates. Buyers definitely want rates to stay as low as possible, but with that is a little bit of instability. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's part of a bigger picture in the economic world, and we don't need to get into that. But let's just say that lower interest rates are absolutely good for buyers.
Sure.
Incentivize the economy in that more people go out and buy because all of a sudden they're able to qualify, whereas if they're higher, they couldn't. But there's another side to that coin also. If it's indicative of an economy that is not as strong.
That's right.
So eventually, as a country, we want to see the interest rates. Don't hate me for saying this, but we do want to see that interest rate go a little higher.
A little
as
bit.
A country.
And then we want to see stabilization.
Yep.
And then the stabilization.
Normalize and stabilize off. And that's not going to happen overnight. That's not even going to happen in 1 year. This is a process. It's going to take time. And like I said, rates are historically low. 30-year money is ridiculously cheap right now. We've got a lot of people borrowing, 100% if they can, because it makes better sense because money is so cheap, and just meaning the interest rates are so low.
Yes. So let's take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you're offering free consultation.
Always.
It's great. People can call you. It could be on the phone, right?
Absolutely.
They don't have to be in person.
No, absolutely. We do a lot of that initial conversation, and then a lot of people prefer to start their process online, even if they're at work or they're going to do it after work or whatever the case may be. So high tech, high touch.
High tech.
There's definitely
high
more
touch.
than one way to get it started.
I love that. Tell us a little bit about that app that you offer and how it works and how convenient it is for both real estate agents as well as consumers.
Sure. So it's just our Fairway app, and it allows people a plethora of
Options.
It has a mortgage calculator. It has the ability to apply. And so for the consumer side, it allows them a place to upload docs if they want to look at payments.
Nice.
If they want to play with that on a Sunday night, as they're trying to go to sleep because now they're buying a house.
Right.
And it allows them to also stay engaged throughout their process. They'll continually, I tell all my borrowers, we're going to be best friends for 30 days. Because I'm going to be with you every step of the way.
Yes, that's true.
But it gives them an opportunity or a place, a safe space to go upload documents, see where their loan may be in the process. And it offers almost the same thing to the realtor. It's a CRM system, so the realtors can share that out to the consumer, and then it adds that person to their database, if you will. Then that gives them the access to the pre-qualification letters, and that app is branded to the realtor.
That's very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're competitive in many ways, but not in other ways. We are letting other agents know, that you exist. We want you to be successful, not only via Coldwell Banker, Kennard Realty business, but it's a big business.
It's a big business, and there's room for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we want other agents to take advantage of what Fairway Mortgage has to offer.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. You're very, very, very quiet, Sean, today.
I'm learning, on this episode of Beauty and the Beast. I think, one of the things I like about Fairway, and you closed my last transaction,
sir.
And it was first-time home buyers, but the communication was great. You're sending emails, we're busy, but, Friday night, hey, just wanted to give you a quick update, files and underwriting, just got the appraisal back. Everything was just spot on, and it was less than 30 days FHA. All the scary things, was super, super easy, and we met you when we merged with Kennard, Coldwell Banker, and, we tapped into some of the resources out of Dalton and that area, and it's been a blessing, because, it's been a good partnership. So it is interesting to introduce you to other areas up here in Cleveland and meet some of the folks, because they'll see your pre-qualification letters with our contracts and things. So, it's great if they want to reach out to you and chat with you too, and say, hey, I did talk to that person. I did go in detail on that pre-qualification, because people are really doing research,
They're definitely doing research and interviewing offers.
Truly.
We're looking at, or from my side of the gamut, I'm seeing what we were hearing in the foreclosure market with highest and best.
Yeah. Wait, I'm going to have to interrupt you guys. Sorry, we have 30 seconds to thank our audience for tuning in, to thank Nancy for joining in today in our conversation, and just to remind our audience also that we are online, and each program is recorded, so people can go back and get information that they missed. So A to Z in Real Estate is the name of our show, and call us for free consultation. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of the Saturday, and we will see you next week.
Nancy Collins is a branch manager at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Her goal is to help you find the right financing options to fit your unique needs. Contact her today at 706-280-9763 to learn more. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 2289, is an equal housing opportunity lender. LO NMLS number 195344. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Georgia Resident Mortgage Licensee number 21158. Branch location 307 West Emory Street, Unit C, Dalton, Georgia 30720.
Have you seen the new Coldwell Banker North Star signs? Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty has been serving the East Tennessee and North Georgia area since 1974, with 5 offices in Cleveland, Tennessee, Dalton, Ringgold, Cartersville, and Calhoun, Georgia. With the latest technology, CBKR's 145 licensed agents are ready to serve all your real estate needs. Call today, 423-476-5532. They offer residential, commercial, and land and property management. Call and speak to one of their licensed professionals today.